Media doesn't report it that way. What media only sees is the South China Sea, Spratley's issue, China actually coming in. And we don't see the US actually coming in that way. We're not even discussing the redeployment in Southeast Asia of American troops and how it will impact on the Philippines. So there's clearly a lack of analysis within media itself, or because media refuses it, either media is too lazy to do it. I mean, the senior journalists, a lot are really too lazy to do it, or does not jive with their interests as well. So I think all over the world, if it's not to the interest of the power structures, you get short shrift. But basically, they control who owns the truth. Who owns the truth. So the rules of the game is the rules of the game. So all we can do is try to pasundot-sundot. Advocacy na lang. Kakalungkot, pero yun ang laro talaga.
So, bakit Mindanao?
Mindanao, Mindanao. Why Mindanao? Actually, parang cycle yan. Parang cycle. It used to be Luzon. It used to be Southern Luzon. I think, but Southern Luzon was during the heyday of the talagang malakas yung insurgency doon. Mindanao, I think it has to do with the political developments there talaga. It's still warlordism. I'm not dissing Mindanao that it's the land of the warlords, but really, especially central Mindanao. Well, you got families who, you've got clans actually ruling the places. In Jensen, it's a different thing. I really do not understand that in Jensen. Like, I think it also has, like I said, a lot of it is also tied up to ethics and how media relates to the local communities, how yung power play ng politicians and business, and how media plays with that. So, pag nadamay ka doon, you're likely to get it's nakakalungkot nga. Pero yung nga sinasabi namin, sino ba dapat sisihin? Yung media na pinatay o yung taong nag-set ng condition na nagkakaroon? Hindi naman sinasabing blameless tayo, pero how do we operate? We don't operate in a vacuum. Corruption does not crop up in a vacuum. It has to be fertilized, diba? Like anything else. Before you said,
okay, I don't know if this is simplifying everything, but I just wanted to be, like, it seems like the media that criticizes the government or politician are the ones that are being murdered, and the ones who probably are murdering those media are the ones who were the politicians and government people who were criticized. Is it that direct? Can they show direct links? The criticism led to.
In most cases, yeah. In most cases, the murders, the journalists who were murdered were criticizing either were actually writing on corruption or sometimes crime, which is actually in many places crime and politics are actually no different from each other. Sometimes the former drug lord is now the mayor, so it's all interlinked. And actually, what we were saying, we were telling President Aquino, said, diba, one of his campaign promises was good governance. Good governance. And we were telling him, look, if you wanna implement good governance, if you wanna start, we'll give you a starting point. Solve all the media murders. Because it is most likely that probably 9 out of 10 of these murders will lead back to whoever rules that province or region. And if that happens, then you can start cleaning up and give us good governance.
They could be his allies.
Most likely. Of course, a lot of them would be, because like in the Philippines naman glorious allies then, I know. I personally know a lot of Gloria Lakis are now really like singing nice praise. But then that's always been the case in Philippine politics. Kasi after we dismantled the two-party system, like political butterflies have been fleeting.
One by one, makikita ko, nawawala mga witnesses sa 41 murders.
Yes.
Ano kaya magiging outcome niya? Parang kung nawawala isa-isa, pinapatay.
Yung nga nakakalungkot, we've lost like, lately, 2 more. 2 more.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Confirmation pa lang yan. Confirmation na lang. They were actually killed like a couple of months ago. They went missing. And one was a potential witness pa lang, sasalang pa lang sa korte. The other one had already testified, but their testimonies would be more or less the same. The first one was chainsawed, so So, signature talaga yun. He had testified that he'd driven 32 gunmen to the site. And the other one, whose family name was Ampatuan, actually a relative of the family, was actually one of the gunmen also. And he was going to testify to that. And the first witness, major witness who was killed, was also one of the gunmen. So, yeah. The problem is, I think the first witness who was murdered was not accepted into the government witness protection program because the prosecution said he was not reliable. The second, I think, decided to withdraw from the program because he didn't feel safe there. I'm not really sure yet about the Ampatuan, what happened to him, if he ever was in the program. But yeah, it's true, the witness protection program doesn't really actually protect you. And the families are actually still receiving threats, the families of the victims. They're still receiving bribe offers. And the most optimistic prognosis actually of lawyers we've talked to, the first conviction, if we ever get a conviction, if we're optimistic, it'll take at least a decade. There are 200 witnesses on each side. You're gonna have to hear all that. 57 counts for now, and each and every accused filing for bail. Of the Ampatuan, major members of the Ampatuan clan who are detained, only 2 have so far been indicted. Zaldi Ampatuan, only the 2 andals, senior and junior. Si Zaldi is not yet indicted. And last year, actually, he was offering, or Malacanang was saying he was offering to turn state witness in the electoral fraud, which would have gotten him free of the massacre case. We know who was behind that negotiations. Siyempre, Malacanang yun. And yun, he would have become state witness, been put into the program, been given a new identity, goodbye. Buti na lang, we got wind of it. So we made noise, hindi natuloy. So, there'll be maneuvers. It's not gonna be easy. Yung nasabi namin sa families, we actually had to tell the families, look, if you think you wanna go for a settlement, we won't blame you. We won't blame you. It's hard enough losing a breadwinner. We can only support the education of your children. We can support your day-to-day life. So, isipin mo, every day, naghihirap sila. They have to face the pressures of the trial, they have to face the threats. So, yun nga sabi namin, if you think you wanna settle, hindi namin kayo masisisi. Sabi namin, don't settle for peanuts naman. Yung biruan nga last meeting, biruan, ganun kasi there were problems cropping up. Sabi ko, pag 50 million tanggapin nila. 50 million bawat pamilya. Pag 50 million bawat pamilya tanggapin nila. Ambag kayo ng 10 million, patira nyo. Which was the joke actually of the original joke yun sa Marcos victims. Sige, settlement, kunin na natin, tapos patira na natin. Actually, Marcos yan. Pero, alam mo, you have to face the reality. Grabe talaga ang hirap ng dinaraanan ninyo. Psychologically, economically. Yeah. So, it's gonna be a long, hard struggle just for that case. And the individual murders, we haven't even started on them. Ang dahil pang, like Marlene Esperat, if you recall the Marlene Esperat case, they have identified and already charged the masterminds, who are regional officials of the Department of Agriculture. And they're back at work reporting to the regional office. So it's been what? Isipin mo, suspect ka na, charge ka na in court. Still reporting to work, still getting their benefits. They're still regional officials of the Department of Agriculture. So, hirap na. Ortega case, well, it's like Palparan, Ortega case, parang si Palparan. Saan mo hanapin yun?
Laila de Lima, formerly Missionary Human Rights,
Yeah.
now the Secretary of Justice. What's happening?
I'm not too sure. I think Laila's been caught up in politics. been like she's been like being considered to run for Senate or even being considered for Chief Justice. I mean, Laila is a good person. She was really great as CHR. Ako personally, when she was appointed Justice Secretary, well, I congratulated her, of course, but I said, I think you were better as a commissioner. I think you're heading into stormy waters. And ginawa siyang parang taga-sangga ni Noy. Whenever there's a problem, Noy pushes her there. So her attention's really like kalat. And I don't think she's changed as a person. Politics as a way of, really changing the mindset and everything. But I don't think she's a bad person. She just too much on her plate. She can't really focus on this stuff. So we're not really relying on her too much now. But we're working with the prosecutors, a lot of the prosecution, a lot of the prosecutors we've been working with have been very decent. So yun na lang ang ano namin.
Alright, what is your most unforgettable threat as a journalist na talagang hindi mo makalimutan?
Personally. Actually, I don't pag-isipan yun. But it's one of the reasons actually why I'm working in Manila and my family is still back in Bacolod. For the past 6 years, I've been working in Manila, just going home to visit. Because, well, financial reasons are one. But the last threat I actually received wasn't even directed at me. It was a text message I received. Pare, bukas, babalita mo na yung pamilya mo. And really, talagang nanlamig na ako. Sabi ko, it might be safer for me to be away. For them, actually, it might be safer if I wasn't there. Kasi para malayo ako sa kanila. So far, okay naman. Although late, I'm hoping, I'm still negotiating. I want to be transferred back to the province. Alam, lalaki na rin mga anak ko. I missed the best years of their life. I want to go back. I think I can handle the risk na yun. Pero hindi ko na alam. So nagdadalawang isip ko na. So, yun. And yun din, the massacre has actually affected me more ways than I realized actually. I had a couple of flashbacks about it. The last debriefing session, parang stress debriefing na yun. Sabi nga ng taga-CRC, ay ba, kumpleto ka na sa symptoms ng PTSD. Trigger na lang kailangan. So sabi ko, hindi, wag niyo akong galitin. Pero yun, I mean, kaya nga, pero luckily naman, with the realization na, actually I was lucky because before the massacre, I was one of the original fellows of the DART Center for Media Trauma sa Asia Pacific. And then that's when I started realizing how trauma was actually a risk that every journalist, especially in hazardous conditions, faces. So after the massacre, I was kind of expecting something to happen na rin. And in fact, hindi lang ano. Even, well, there were of course yung tatlong survivors who turned back before they could catch up to the country. I'm sure they've been going through shit. Pero not even that, even journalists who never actually covered the massacre have been experiencing trauma because of what happened. It was so massive a scale. Napaka-massive ng scale. 32 in 1 year. So it actually shook, shattered what media thought about itself before. Dati pag may press card ka, pwede siga ka eh. You thought your press card would protect you. Everyone would respect the card. Yun pala, hindi. And so it really made journalists rethink their roles and roles nila, how to perform the job. It actually turned it on the brighter side, if you can call it. There was a lot of self-reflection going on and a lot of realization.